Muy bien, amigos, bienvenidos a todos. Estamos en vivo en directo nuevamente, 8:07 p.m. Miércoles diciembre 9 del 2020. Espero de que estén teniendo una hermosa noche. Am, Qué locura, ya quedan muy poco, o sea, es prácticamente menos de un mes, obviamente, para terminar este año que fue tan largo para muchos, tan corto para otros. Hay gente que el año no fue tan malo como pensaban y otros que realmente solo saben mirar lo negativo de este año, mirando el tema de la pandemia. Obviamente fue un año muy difícil, pero empecemos de a poquito a hacer esa transición a un nuevo año, pero sin pensar de que el límite de los años significa un gran cambio, porque el cambio realmente lo haces tú. Entonces, es tu decisión pensar de que, bueno, si todo esto se prolonga mucho más, am, o no, porque ahora salieron con la vacuna. Por lo menos tomar espero que no hayan desperdiciado tiempo, porque el tiempo es algo que no lo van a poder volver a tener. Entonces, el estar en sus casas, en vez de decidir estar ahí tirados mirando televisión, a ver mientras pasa todo este quilombo, por lo menos tomarlo para reflexionar, para meditar, para encontrarse, para empezar un hobby, para entrenar. Al fin del cabo, creo que si hay algo que realmente es valioso en la vida de cada uno, y lo más valioso, podría decir, es el tiempo, porque no se recupera. Entonces, en vez de quejarnos tanto y decir, wow, qué año de mierda, pues bueno, no, a ver, este año me dejó pues muchas buenas actitudes. Empezar quizás hacer ejercicio, o empecé meditación, o bueno, no voy a decir conocí a alguien, no creo que hayan conocido a nadie. Si están en cuarentena, y sé que muchos de ustedes están en cuarentena nuevamente porque Europa está en cuarentena, así que bueno, hagan lo mejor con su tiempo, porque recuerden de que no lo van a volver a tener, y el tiempo es oro, ¿ok? Y empiecen ya, ¿por qué no?, a pensar en sus reflexiones de este año y metas para el año que viene. No metas de viajes y todo eso, pero metas más que nada personales de ustedes mismos, de mejorar como persona, etcétera. ¿Ok? Vamos a empezar con el tema de hoy. All right. Hey, Jenny, we are each of us shaped and defined by the culture we grew up in. True. As infants and children, we are blank slates for our elders, parents, teachers, clergy, to write their moral and ethical codes on. That's so true. I've never thought about it like that. Their virtues and their prejudices. We fit in by mirroring the behavior of family and friends and those whom we admire and whose company we'd love to keep. True. Some find a lifelong comfort in conforming, remaining protective of the status quo and suspicious, even fearful of things new and different that may call any of it into question. Yeah, there's people that live to just make their, the people that surround them happy, and they never really take the chance to see what makes them happy. It's a choice, not nothing that we can point fingers at or judge. Obviously, it's a choice, but it's important to know that it's a choice, because a lot of people feel like they don't have another choice on that. And if they don't follow the rules, if they don't follow the family morale or the family business or whatever it is that you've been taught, it's like they're going against their family. And it's not like that whatsoever. On the contrary. But we'll talk about that a little bit more into the topic. Is it healthy, Jenny, both for society and the individual, for us to adhere to comfortable tradition, or is it better that we question even those things that we hold the most sacred? Things that have maybe been in your family for like centuries and centuries. I think questioning is very good. So I think if you don't question things, you don't have a personality, honestly. And if you don't question something, it's because you're absolutely, totally sure of what it is that is being taught to you, and you're convinced of it. So that's different. In that case, don't allow anybody to make you question your beliefs or what it is that you're following. But if that's not the case, and you're unhappy in your life, and you're not wondering, and you're not realizing that maybe what's making you unhappy is that you're following all these rules, or you're following all these traditions that really don't go with you, and your inner self and your soul is just urging you to go out there, experience the world in a different way, and live your life the way that you want to live it. Jenny, both society, is it healthy, Jenny, both for society and the individual, for us to adhere to comfortable tradition, or is it better that we question even those things that we hold most sacred? Is it best to work within conventional boundaries, or often risking the disapproval of those we grew up loving? To work to expand them, even if necessary to shatter them? What do you mean shatter them? Muy bien. Go a little bit in Spanish. Hola Jenny, cada uno de nosotros está moldeado de una forma diferente a través de la cultura en la cual nacemos. Siendo infantes, los niños somos un papel en blanco completamente para nuestros padres, para nuestros maestros, abuelos, superiores, para que escriban su moral y su ética, sus códigos de ética en nosotros. Es verdad, es como que somos un libro abierto, ¿no? Un libro en blanco y viene uno y dice, bueno, yo te voy a enseñar tal cosa. Entonces tienes una página de matemática, una página de historia, una página de geografía, una página de morales, una página de qué hacer, de qué es bueno, qué no es bueno. Es interesante mirarlo así. Las virtudes y los prejuicios, dice, nosotros encajamos en realidad siendo espejos de los comportamientos de la familia y los amigos, a los cuales admiramos y queremos, por supuesto, mantener esa compañía. Hay mucha gente que realmente o sea, se cría en cierto ambiente y le encanta, está convencido y feliz en ese ambiente. En ese caso me parece bien, o sea, lo importante es que tú estés feliz. Ahora, ¿qué pasa si tú estás en un ambiente familiar o estás viviendo un estilo de vida donde fue más que nada empujado o forzado desde pequeño hacia tu mente, hacia tu persona, y simplemente lo haces porque piensas que es lo correcto para hacer, porque estás enchapado a la antigua, como se le dice, ¿no? Donde los hijos seguían el trabajo del papá y viceversa, pero ya no significa que sea ni malo ni bueno, simplemente son decisiones. Ahora, si esa decisión y eso realmente te nace y es algo que quieres hacer, excelente, hazlo, pero ¿qué pasa si lo estás haciendo solamente para hacer feliz a los demás? Si lo estás haciendo solamente para hacer feliz a los demás, obviamente tarde o temprano te vas a chocar contra una pared y ni siquiera te vas a dar cuenta que una de las razones por la cual estás generando negatividad y te estás siendo infeliz es por eso, porque para ti como persona y tu moral estás siguiendo los pasos de tu familia, entonces por eso nunca vas a cuestionar de que quizás lo que tienes que cambiar es justamente eso. Entonces, eso pasa muchísimo. La gente, yo creo que, primero que todo, que mucha gente no sabe lo que es, no sabe ni siquiera lo que es moral. Entonces, y lo digo así irónicamente porque no tiene nada que ver con la vestimenta. Entonces, tiene que ver con tu comportamiento y lo que haces. Y no es, o sea, no es negativo ni en contra de la familia ni inmoral, por ejemplo, decir que no a un padre o decirle que no a una madre, no quiero trabajar en lo que tú me estás diciendo o seguir el negocio de familia. Hay gente que se vive encerrada en esa idea de que si no hacen lo que les dicen los superiores, sus padres, como que se van a ir al infierno o están siendo malos hijos y es justamente lo que toda esta sociedad y toda esta incertidumbre de ideas que sí, la sociedad que manda incertidumbre de ideas hacia las personas que realmente no hay promoción en que nosotros realmente encontremos nuestra identidad, porque todo está, como dice nuestro querido miembro, planeados, somos moldeados desde el principio. Ahora hay padres, ya hoy en día la gente ha cambiado, o sea, los padres son mucho más modernos, los padres son mucho más, cuando digo padres, a ver, mujeres y hombres, mamá y papá, ¿no? Que no me vayan a decir como en Argentina, no, no hay que generalizar con el léxico del feminismo. Pero hoy en día sí existe un poquito más de apertura donde las personas terminan diciendo, no, o sea, tú haz lo que te hace feliz. Pero ¿qué tal aquellos que siguen enchapados en esa antigua donde dicen, no, tú tienes que hacer lo que yo digo y vas a trabajar de esto y vas a seguir el negocio familiar y así los tienen y las personas son infelices y sin embargo lo hacen porque bueno, quieras o no, él me trajo a la vida, ellos me dieron de comer. Sí, tienes razón y tienes mucho, o sea, que agradecerle a tus padres por haber hecho todo ese trabajo, pero no significa que sean dueños de tu vida, o sea, tú no eres de ellos como para que dejen en una cajita encerrado y decidan por ti todas las decisiones habidas por haber. O sea, existe un periodo de tiempo donde tu formación ya terminó y tú tendrías que ser libre para decidir lo que quieres hacer. Y si no estás feliz haciendo lo que quieres hacer en el tema familiar, ¿no? En el negocio familiar o cosas así, o con las tradiciones o religiones de tu familia, no significa que tengas que quedarte haciendo eso, al contrario, cualquier persona, yo siempre les he dicho eso, cualquier persona, así sea un padre, que te exige hacer algo que a ti te hace infeliz, no está viendo lo mejor para ti. O sea, sin querer, la gente siempre piensa nuestros familiares siempre piensan de que saben lo que es lo mejor para nosotros, o para sus hijos, o para sus nietos, o para gente menor, ¿no? Pero tienes que primero analizar, como siempre digo, pon una perspectiva fuera en vez de pensar en padre, pensar simplemente, bueno, como persona y ver, bueno, en qué es exitosa mi mamá, en qué es exitoso mi papá. Y de acuerdo a eso, así como ese es el consejo número uno que yo siempre les doy, es nunca tomen un consejo de alguien sobre un tema en el cual no son exitosos, ¿ok? Y no digo exitosos, a ver, que no tengan ningún problema, o sea, obviamente, pero exitosos, o sea, todo el mundo tiene problemas, es normal en el mundo que vivimos, pero es muy importante. Y a veces nuestros padres, si no son exitosos en el amor, probablemente, pues obviamente escúchalos, pero es muy, muy, muy delicadamente. Si no son exitosos en el trabajo, obviamente escúchalos, pero delicadamente, y ten la perspectiva de que, bueno, quizás tú sí puedes ser exitoso, pero el seguir un consejo de alguien que no es exitoso en algo, solamente te va a llegar al fracaso. A veces la gente piensa de que, pero aprendes de las experiencias de los demás. Perfecto, en ese caso sí está bien. Escuchas, absorbes, pero no defines basado a esa información. O sea, es simplemente experiencias de otras personas. Voy en inglés un poquito. Ayer creo que me dijeron que fui mucho en español, ¿no? So I think I went a little bit too much in Spanish the other time. So I was thinking, okay, we put this perspective into like religion and jobs. Like, for example, in Latin America, not so much now, but when I was younger, at least, there was this whole motto and the old fashioned way that you had to continue with the family business. So if your dad had a farm, like my dad, for example, and his farm, he would always look after that. My brother would continue it the day of tomorrow, and it wasn't something that it was never pushed. It was always like, what do you want to study? What do you want to do? I'll help you do it. So in my parents' case, it was great, but there's so many cases where. And I've met a lot of people, because I think in Spanish countries, it's like family is a little bit more united and also very close-minded, in the sense that sometimes when you are not following the family business, or when you're not following the tradition or the religion, it's taken into a huge offense to the family. So I think today things have changed a little bit, where people are more open-minded, and parents that are parents today have acknowledged and realized that, no, you have to do what makes you happy, and I'll support you, kind of thing. But there's still that percentage of people that are stuck in that culture and those ideas and those pretexts, really, that they've been taught since they were little, and are so afraid of saying no. And I totally understand, because obviously, I mean, I think everybody would understand this. If you love someone and you want to keep them, you want to make them happy. If you want to make them happy, you usually, especially if they're your parents, you usually will just say yes to whatever it is they say or recommend, right? Because they are supposed to know more than you. But I always give everybody this. This is like one of my number one, let's say, advices, and it's, you should never take an advice from someone that's not successful in the topic that they're talking about. You should listen to them, absolutely listen to them, because you will learn from their mistakes, but don't take their conclusions from it unless they're realizing their mistakes. If somebody's, and this goes for your parents too, by the way, like, you need to analyze, okay, so my mom or my dad, when you're older, of course, if your parents are talking to you about love, like, are they in love? Are they successful in love? Great. Then go ahead and take that in as if it was gold, material, because there's not going to be better advice. Now, what about family members and parents that always think they're giving you the best advice, which is always in their interest, of course, usually, but it's not the best advice for you, right? So in this case, you just need to be respectful and take it in, but if they're not successful in that topic, like if somebody's talking to you about money or businesses and you're broke and bankrupt, you're probably not going to want to listen to them. So what makes it so different that they're a family member? Obviously, you respect your family member, so you'll give them the time of day to listen to them, but you don't have to take your conclusion from that, conversation. It's just, okay, information, but then you need to be very independent when it comes to decisions like this, because they're the ones that make your life, your culture, your ideas, your beliefs, your job, you love. I mean, everything really that's taught to you from the beginning until till the end, like I said, always with the best intentions, but a lot of times not the best messages that you're receiving. So it's in Latin America, like I was saying, it's almost like immoral or seen very negatively, when somebody says no to their parents if you don't want to continue the family business, or you don't want to continue the culture, or you don't, not the culture, sorry, the religion. Some religions are very, very closed, so they take it very offensively if you say no. And I'm sure we've had a lot of people from Egypt, and we've also had Middle East, a lot of Muslims that have written to us, women, believe it or not. And it's been a while, but I remember when we started, and for them, the stories here and how they didn't want to continue, or they wanted to continue the religion, but they lived, for example, in New York. Or I remember one girl in particular, she's like, I like my religion, but I wanted to dress a little more free, and I'm so happy my dad sees your show, because now he understands that everybody has to be individual, and now I can dress how I want. So it's just, I think when somebody loves you and they want the best for you, sometimes you got to go out of the box a little bit to show them that you're okay taking your own decisions. And I think that if they're positive and they see that you're happy, they're going to respect that. But if you never take that chance and you're always afraid of, oh no, I don't want to hurt their feelings kind of thing, you have to understand, just like we said at the beginning, time is precious. You're not going to get that time back. You're just going to grow old into an idea, a religion, or a lifestyle that it's not okay with you, that you're not fulfilled by it, and you're really just throwing away your time. So just because you're born from your parents doesn't mean that they own you. Okay, it's very important. You need to respect them as your elders, you need to learn from them, etc. But if you really are unhappy, like following that family business or that religion or that lifestyle or everything that we were just talking about, if you really are unhappy with it, then you really need to fact check that. Okay, where is your life going, and what happens when they pass away? What if they pass away, and then what are you going to do? Oh, now you're going to start doing what you've always wanted to do? Oh, but now maybe you're like 50 years old. So, I don't see it as something negative, people that live to make their parents happy. I think it's adorable, but I think that you're not living the best version of yourself. You need to let go. You need to let go of, it's almost like saying when you go to school, right? Let's say you have a teacher. It's almost the same thing. You go to school, you have a teacher, right? You learn and you say, okay, thank you for everything you taught me. Here's the book. And then you put it in the shelf or you throw it away. So it's almost the same when you get to that age, let's say 18, 20 years old, you say, thank you for everything you taught me. You close the book, you put it on a shelf, or you throw it away. You're not ever going to throw it away, obviously, because it's everything that you've been taught since you were younger by the people that you love. But you're probably going to tear apart some pages or rewrite them. Don't you think? At least that's what you should do, unless everything that was taught to you is exactly how you want to live. And if you're in that family that you want to be the exact copy from your parents because they have an amazing life, bravo. Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of families have the privilege of having that much positivity in their lives. So if you can continue that generation through generation, amazing. I applaud you. And there's families like that, of course. Successful, happy, in every level. So, but for the majority of the world, that isn't necessarily the thing. It's more of like, I'm afraid of letting go, I'm afraid of what they're gonna say, I'm afraid of the world, I'm afraid of it's just fear. It's fear of really, really just becoming the best version of yourself. And sometimes the best version of yourself doesn't necessarily include a lot of things that your parents teach you, because maybe you discover that for you that was, they were wrong in some things, or they were just misinformed. So everybody's so unique, and everybody's just, yeah, it's so unique that I don't think there's really ever like a way of teaching you the ways of the world without being wrong about something, because you're gonna think you're not gonna have the same mentality and the same thoughts like your parents. Your experiences are gonna be different. The people that surround you are gonna be different, and that has a lot to do, and that influences a lot of your decisions. So today, for example, people have a huge influence, which is social media. So I think this doesn't really happen as much today, but it still does in let's say underdeveloped countries, maybe a little more, where there's the culture is not as strong, or maybe very strong, but in a religious way, that they close people up. That's what I was trying to say. So if you are in that kind of situation, I think a lot of people have seen themselves in that kind of situation. Most of them just leave the country or move or go to study abroad. But once you start deciding your identity, and once you start seeing who it is that you want to, who it is that you're hanging out with, who it is that you are attracted to, etc., and what hobbies and what jobs you're interested in, for example, they might, if you don't leave that little square of the town, or that square mentality of your family for that bit, at least that you're going to school and stuff. I think today it's very difficult for kids to even be taught by parents, because social media is really just a lot more influenceable I don't even know if that's a word, but it's a lot stronger of an influence than they're actually parents speaking, because where are people spending most of their time? Here. So it's tough times that adults have today to raise teenagers. And I take my hat off to anybody that's a parent today, honestly.